Happy Monday, everybody. This is Jeremy with Village Redevelopment. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I'm glad we're finally getting it shot. Something that's near and dear to my heart. We build solar-powered, social and sports-oriented small apartment communities of my own design. We did our first building about 3 years ago, and we're looking for our next acquisition currently, and hopefully into 2024. But I wanted to walk you through what I think is a huge competitive advantage and what I think a lot of multifamily landlords and developers are missing or just paying lip service to here in California, and that is solar and battery backup and the economics of how that works and actually creates a competitive advantage. So I wanted to walk you through that today for, generally, I don't know exactly what the cutoff is, but for sure for 4 units, and even our duplex, it made a ton of sense before we turned it into 4 3 years ago. But I wanted to walk you through the loan programs and how we did that and the net benefit of actually saving money or even making more money and doing the right thing. So let's get into it. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to send me an email, comment below. I'll try and, I'm not always on YouTube looking at the comments, but I'll try my best to answer you back, or you can email me or call me, and I'd be happy to walk you through that or show you our example here in San Diego, where we're currently living in the first 4 Plex with my company offices. So to get into it, multifamily solar economics, driving your costs down and making a difference. Maybe you don't agree completely with solar, or depending on your political persuasion or whatever, but I think we can all agree that more energy independence is a good thing for America and the world. So with that said, let's jump into my 4-plex example. So this is a rough drawing of kind of how my building looks. We're right here right now with the solar pedestal above us. I'm going to take some outside photos for you a little bit later and walk you through that. But we built this about 2 to 3 years ago. Our original cost of electricity per month was averaging around $800 with all 4 units, 3 rentals, and then our house, which is a duplex with my offices in it. The current cost of our solar with 20 kilowatts of battery storage on it is around $400 a month. So it's literally half of the cost of our original bill with SDG&E. And that's with mini split air conditioners, heat pumps, fans. Half of the tenants work from home, including myself. So that's a huge difference. We're saving, it's like half, right? So I'll dive into more of like the overview and the stats loosely of how that's constructed and how we financed it. So we decided on a 14 kilowatt system with 20 kilowatts of wall batteries. I think they're LG. I can't remember exactly how many panels we have, like 30, I think. But the total all-in cost was $72,000. And a lot of my friends were skeptical of the storage, but I think the storage is where the real savings is coming from, because it's storing energy on site and buying us through time of use when the energy prices spike. So I think it's pushing the overall cost down even more drastically, because we're not paying at those peak times, and we've had 1 to 2 at least electric vehicles on site that are charging at those off-peak hours too. So I think the storage is definitely having a huge effect, even though each battery was like 10 grand. So it was expensive up front, $72,000, nothing to scoff at, but we literally used the PACE financing program for energy efficiency and home renovations that create energy efficiency. 0 down, I think it was about 3%, 30-year fixed term, $350 a month. And then our over-under on average is about $20 to $50. So, I mean, last month, peak season during the summer, running the ACs, my bill was $26 above what our loan payment of $350 is. Some multifamily landlords might scoff at the economics because it might overcomplicate how they're billing their clients. We didn't meter the property per door, so it's all on my bill, and then we just charge our tenants a flat rate of like $150 or whatever, and it's about an average of what we're spending, I think. both power, water. Might have to go up at some point, but we're also living in the property, so we're living pretty cheap. So we're actually the power provider, and you could monetize this if you saw fit, because actually the cost of, water, gas, and power is probably something closer to like $250 all in, but we just decided to charge them a flat fee, and we're living here cheap. So included in this is we've had upwards of 2 electric cars. We currently have a Tesla. That's my wife's, and then we have 4 electric bikes. We have a Curran electric motorcycle that we're charging. Her Tesla probably, I would say on average, costs about $3 to $8 maybe to charge up, but it's hardly even noticeable because it's all coming from the solar system, and it hasn't really bumped our power bill up hardly at all. It's just hovering around that $20 to $50 over-under range. Over our payment. This is a huge competitive advantage. Halving your cost, if you were charging them, passing through the true cost of what's going on, or the cost of what should be going on versus the cost of your payment and financing on your solar panels, you could be making an extra $100 per unit, which is nothing to scoff about, depending on what your rents are. Another thing that we dive into that's a little bit out of scope for this particular video, but we might dive into later, is our social and sports-oriented orientation. We like to include bikes, loaner bikes for people to borrow, to incentivize them to get around in different ways, not just always jump in their car by default, because we live in a nice walkable, bikeable area. We give them foam surfboards to learn how to surf and inspire them to try new and different sports. We've recently put a lot of games, cornhole, can jam, ladder ball into the complex. We just put in a 6-man jacuzzi. And we have options if they want to learn how to garden. We got a couple of stock tank feeders that are on a timer, and they can plant their own vegetables and stuff like that. And then we have really nice social areas that you'll see in the video walk around with strung lights and market umbrellas and barbecues. So it's really, really nice. And I wasn't even this is how I wanted to build it, because I want to build communities that I want to live in, where we can make like-minded friends and have fun. And, the apartments, it doesn't make sense to build a huge apartment. So I wanted to provide really nice outdoor areas and rooftop decks or big patios where people could hang out with their friends and enjoy the nice weather here and just, get together and make more friends. Because I don't know if you're completely aware of it, but there is an epidemic of loneliness going on in this country that's been exacerbated by the pandemic these recent years. And that wasn't my original intent, was to combat this, but I think now more than ever, that's really important, and it adds a lot of value to the tenants. And if you're just interested in economics, that creates stickiness. I think I heard a stat the other day that said, if your tenants are incentivized to socialize and make friends with the other people in the building, they're 30 to 40% more likely to renew their lease at the end of the term, which is huge if you're just interested in finances and all that. But that wasn't my original intent, but I think it's playing to our hand. And it honestly just makes it a way more fun and cool place to live. Building friendships, having fun, incentivizing people to come out of their apartment and not watch Netflix all night and actually hang out. So I'm going to walk you through the building briefly and kind of give you a tour of the solar system, a flyover with my drone, the batteries, the bikes. If you have any questions on any of this, I'm happy to help. It's something that I'm very passionate about. This is something we want to do more of. And, my email is jeremy@villageredevelopment.com, or you can reach me on my mobile at 619-885-8188, or drop a comment in the video, and I'll try and get back to you. As far as plans for the future, it does take a lot of money, or quite a bit of money to save to do these even fourplex developments, but our future plans are an adventure ranch of some sort is what I would really ideally like to do, buying land or buying a land with a house on it using the 203K or home style renovation loan, and then adding additional, 2 to 3 houses on there and maybe some Airstreams or yurts or tiny homes to fill in, whether we can do short-term renting or not, to up the cash flow and drive the rent down for the local people who need nice, newish, fairly affordable housing in a lot of these markets. And then to continue to build out kind of our urban concept, which is, call it 4 to 10 units, energy independent, solar powered, battery backed up, with a sports and social component, and of my own design, because that's really fun to me. I actually hand draw the buildings and then have architects help me clean it up and make it legit and render it. Some of the markets that we're most considering that I'd like to build in the coming years is Bass Lake, California, my hometown just south of Yosemite, is really rad, and they desperately need housing. Mammoth Lakes desperately needs housing. Truckee, or the North Lake Tahoe or Tahoe area in general, desperately needs fairly affordable rental housing. And then maybe if we have a lot of momentum and we're having fun with it, Crested Butte, Colorado, Salida area. And honestly, if we are partnering up with like-minded people, which is starting to happen, and working as a team, I'd probably delve into affordable for-sale housing, because rentals are great, people need them. We're not trying to design luxury housing at a luxury price point. We're trying to design nicely designed, fairly affordable housing where we can keep the rents to the middle to the bottom of the market in most places. But honestly, people need to buy and own a house, or we need to teach them how to use some of these 203K and homestyle renovation loan programs, so that they can do it for themselves and live fairly affordably by buying or renovating a duplex or a fourplex, so that they can have a nice life and save more money and not be so stressed about making every last dollar. All right, I've talked too much. Now we're going to go see the outside of the complex. I hope you like this. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me anytime. All right, here we are getting into the outside. As you can see, this is my rooftop deck. Got the cover on it. This is my offices with jacuzzi. I can boost you up. This is the solar array for our build. It's kind of a nice view though. I mean, we're in the middle of San Diego, but you can see the mountains on most days when it's clear. You're actually up in the tree canopy because we're so much higher. You're not just looking into the cars, and the view's pretty rad. There's our secondary deck. We've got a nice little front yard right here on Felton Street. And then we'll go to, there's the mini splits. As you can see over here, we got our third and fourth unit in the back. Big nice decks, lots of picnic tables and market umbrellas that don't really cost a whole lot but add a lot of value and just are super inviting to share a meal or go outside. We got strung lights in the courtyard. That's our third deck on our particular place. You can see some of the surfboards and the vegetable gardens down there, and we'll go down there and get into that as well. Pretty cool though, right? There's kind of the front of the building. We didn't exactly get to design it the way I wanted because we were trying to blend our old duplex, which our original house was on the bottom here, and then we built 2 more levels on top, and we did kind of the same thing in the back because it was 2 separate bungalow style homes, but we kind of blended the style of the cottage that we had into more of a modern structure, and I think it actually came out pretty good. Hopefully we'll get to build on that, but a win. Got some vegetable gardens. It's almost tomato season. Actually, some of the stuff's starting to come out, but we actually are yielding quite a bit of food. And then here is what we did for our bicycle parking. As you can see, we have a lot of bikes. Biking is very important to me, and is a big part of our life. So we did vintage bicycle frame parking. You can see I kind of painted them different colors. These are the 2 community bikes that the tenants can borrow, and then we're considering doing some of these like rad power bikes or cargo bikes that would be pedal assist. Here's our 10 kilowatt LG, one of the batteries that we have, along with the solar edge system and all the conduit and piping that comes down to this. Again, more vegetable gardens, more vegetables. Mr. Spider. Our community board rack. These are actually the original surfboards because they're foam boards and they're easy to learn on. I've started putting some of my older boards into the quiver, which is cool. And then again, as you can see, just kind of picnic tables, umbrellas, fruit trees. We got a crab apple over here. Nice Adirondack chairs, little fire pit. And then we just put this on the community jacuzzi. So this is a new 6-man hot tub, just so people can come and relax and have a nice time. I mean, it was somewhat expensive, but I think the value that it adds is immeasurable, and I think nobody's going to argue with me for the rent that I'm charging, because we're literally to the middle of the bottom of the market. San Diego is not the least expensive place, but I think we do a nice job of keeping our rents fairly low and giving people a lot more for what they're spending. And then over here we started doing games. So we have cornhole, can jam, spike ball, and just kind of a nice area with some seating that you can use and keep it nice and fun. You found this interesting and entertaining, and if you have any questions on kind of what we've done or how you could maybe emulate this or even co-invest with us, I think the part of the only hang up is just access to capital, and some of the market is at play because the pricing is so high right now that I think we're going to see some sort of market correction. But this is definitely what I would like to do, slowly but surely, maybe build a community a year or a community every couple of years in towns that definitely need non-luxury housing that's built with this environmental spin on it, and sport and social spin can make a huge difference for everybody. So if you like what you saw, give me a call, give me a comment. I'm happy to talk to you, and stay stoked out there, my friends.